Welcome to the Roar Room, truth on the mic. Healing the soul, we rise and ignite. Mind, body, spirit aligned in the flame. Roar Room tribe, we roar in our name. There are whispers in the silence, calling through the years. Not everything you're told is truth, not everything is clear. They built it high around you, made you bow and kneel. But something deep inside you says there's more than what you feel. Two rivers always flowing underneath the human tide. One builds a throne of power, one awakens what's inside. Most will walk the wide road, follow what they're shown, but a few will hear the echo saying you are not alone. He never asked for worship, never wore a crown, spoken hidden language so the truth wouldn't be drowned. It's not above you, it's not beyond, it's in your breath, it's been there all along. No need to chase what's in your soul. You were never broken, you were always whole. The light you seek is where you've been. The second coming starts within. They took what was sacred, placed it out of reach, turned it into something you were begging them to teach. But power shifts the moment that you start to see. Everything you needed was already meant to be. The hidden stream is rising, you can feel it in your chest. It's not about becoming, it's remembering the rest. Not waiting on a savior, not fearing what may fall. It's waking from the illusion that was never truth at all. The veil is slowly lifting, truth is breaking through. The chains were never locked, they were only placed on you. It's not above you, it's not beyond, it's in your breath, it's been there all along. No need to chase what's in your soul. You were never broken, you were always whole. The light you seek is where you've been. The second coming starts within. No fire in the sky, no trumpet sound, just quiet minds no longer bound. No throne returns, no king descends. It's many hearts that now transcend. See with awareness, not your eyes. Watch the fall of ancient lies. You don't need permission now. The truth is rising, feel it loud, loud, It's not the end, it's the reveal. Not what they said, but what is real. It's not above you, it's not beyond, it's in your breath, it's been there all along. No need to chase what's in your soul. You were never broken, you were always whole. The light you see is where you've been. The second coming starts within. So don't look up for what's inside, don't let them take what you can't hide. Remember now, beneath the spin, the unveiling always starts within.
Welcome, welcome. Glad to have everybody here with us tonight. Happy Saturday. It's Saturday, ain't it?
It is
Yeah.
May 16th.
Hope everybody's gardens are flourishing if you can grow anything, right? Hope your gardens are looking as good as mine. Not playing.
Ours looks pretty good
I
so far.
I think the squash and zucchini seems to be the one that just takes off the best. You really don't have to do a whole lot with that but water it.
Right, and
That
I
stuff
like the
just
squash
grows,
because you can store it for a while.
right?
The tomatoes are doing good too.
So what crop do you prefer to plant? Has anybody got a favorite, something that they like? Some people don't do too good on tomatoes
Right,
or other plants, but there's a certain plant that some people can grow that others can't.
like in your region.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, they just
or just not good.
right,
Don't have
right.
that
Now have
green
the green
thumb.
thumb. Not every plant wants to
Yeah, that's
cooperate.
right.
They
That's
like the
true.
some people like low maintenance, just plant it and go and let it grow, right? So, welcome to the show tonight. We got a couple of things we're going to talk about. A couple hard truths, right?
Yes.
I'm going to get to the hard truths first, or you want to do the hard truths last?
Do the hard truths and then
Let's do
ease
the
in
hard truth.
something more uplifting.
Yeah, that'll work.
Get the bad stuff out of the way.
All right. These are just stuff that we got to come to uh, conclusion on, right? Why is no one being arrested, especially like people like Anthony Fauci, right?
Right,
And I don't think a lot of people know about certain things, like as far as uh, president accommodations were given to Fauci and Kushner the same day, Mark Milley, right?
right. And Kushner's younger brother is involved in a lot of stuff too, which I didn't even know he had a younger brother. Did y'all? He's invested in a lot of stuff as well.
Yeah. So you see that right there? Here it is right here. So I'm going to pull this up because some people can't make sense of what's going on. Why is Fauci able to walk? All right. So this was January 2021. They were all given. Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law, senior advisor to the Trump administration, was awarded a presidential accommodation in January 2021. Also, like I said, General Milley, right here, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Secretary Alex Azar, HHS, BioNTech Vice President Dr. Monsef Salio, NIH Director Dr. Fauci, Burks, even. They all got accommodations. I don't think a lot of people realize that. So it's confusing when you see stuff like this hit the news. Let me pull it up. Like this, right? The Department of Justice does not plan to arrest Dr. Fauci and is expected to let the statute of limitations for lying to Congress expire, which is weird, right? Because Trump just put out today, or the White House put this message out: no games. If you hurt Americans or are planning to hurt Americans, we will find you and we will kill you. So I revert back to Fauci. I revert back to Robert Bill Gates. Fauci and Bill Gates injected the world with HIV and cancer. Isn't that harming Americans and killing Americans?
Yeah.
So then I'm wondering, like, okay, well, what's going on here? Then we go back, pull up some of the videos here from during the coronavirus with Fauci and Trump in it, paid for by President Trump at the time, and it's right here. Let me pull it up here. And it's weird. I think it was the first time we seen him in a mask. Trying to pull up the video here. 1 second. Oh, no, I gotta go get it. It's
You guys think the Tartarians had to go through all this?
the who?
The Tartarians, whoever's the last reset.
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
was I was reading something on that. It was saying that the technology was released again
Uh-huh.
because like nothing's new under the sun, right? But they mishandled the technology. Well, they say it was the fallen angel technology, right? And was used in the wrong way, and which caused it to self-destruct, I guess. And so that's why they said the Vatican has been keeping the release of the new technologies from coming out because they don't want that to happen again, which makes sense. But
we just have to get rid of all the villains, and we're not getting rid of the villains. That's the problem.
well, yeah, but think about it. I mean, you always have duality in this realm, so you
Yeah,
would never know. I mean, somebody can always start off as with good intentions, but with a lot of power, sometimes people corrupt, right?
right.
So
Yeah.
I think that's the reason why they
It's
put
biblical.
Palantiran. They're gonna have, they would have to redo it all, or set it some way where someone wouldn't be able to have too much power over the technology to do bad things, right?
Yeah.
Because it's happened more than once.
So here is the remember when Trump ran this stupid commercial wearing a mask and praising Dr. Fauci. So what I'm showing you here is you want to know why nobody's going to jail, right? You want to know you have to go back and maybe you missed something, right? So somebody brought this forward on top of the presidential accommodations. Here's the commercial. This is bought and paid for by the.
President Trump is recovering from the coronavirus, and so is America. Together, we rose to meet the challenge, protecting our seniors, getting them life-saving drugs in record time, sparing no expense. President Trump tackled the virus head-on, as leaders should.
I can't imagine that anybody could be doing more.
We'll get through this together. We'll live carefully, but not afraid.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
So they said, you remember this? And they said there were signs, right?
Mhm.
There were signs. Now the thing with warp speed, it got 5 years or so ahead of what Fauci wanted to wait 5 years. Trump warp speeded it,
Right.
right? So here's an ad bought and paid for with Trump and Fauci in it. Paid for by Donald Trump for President Inc. Approved by Donald Trump, all caps, right? All right. It made me think of this because of what this was said. That no games. If you hurt Americans or are planning to hurt Americans, we will find you and we would kill you. Then I went, wait, well, what about these guys? You know,
Right.
what's up with these two monkeys, right? And this fucker right here, right? We know what he's done. He's even experimented on foster kids. Like, I think they're so damn protected, and I think it was all legal. That may be the issue. Like, because nobody even thought of not making it illegal because they do some weird shit, experimenting with animals and kids and humans, and
Well,
over the last 100 years or so.
there's a Supreme Court case coming up. I posted it the other day about that. maybe I'll find it.
All right, let me pull this up real quick. Let you find that. All right, so let me remove this off the screen. Now I'm going to play this next.
I hated Fauci. So I was so angry the day that he said 15 days to slow the spread. I've never been so angry in all my life at President Trump. I was furious at him. But I guess I was in my viewpoint or what I believed at the time, I thought he was just being given bad information from his advisors. And so I saw President Trump as being the innocent one being misled down this trail by these bad advisors. And I was so stupid to think that. Now I see it completely different. I'm like, no, he loved that vaccine. I know he loved the vaccine. He loved Operation Warp Speed. And he's told me before, he's so proud of it. And, he's told me in person, he saved millions of people's lives with that vaccine. And I say back, no, millions of people have died because of that vaccine. And millions of people are injured today because of that vaccine. And there's been countless babies not born because of that vaccine. And we have no clue what the future of damage is going to be to people's health because of that vaccine. And no, now I see it totally different. But back then I was like, oh, the president's being misled. They're lying to him. And that's continues to be the problem, though, for people, is they blame Susie Wiles, or they're blaming Pam Bondi, or they're blaming whoever's in the room. When honestly, I can tell you firsthand knowledge, because I've been in the room, it's the president himself. It is Donald Trump himself. And I know that's a hard pill for people to swallow, but let me tell you, that's the pill you need to swallow. Because once everyone can understand it is him that is calling the shots, it's him that writes these crazy Truth Social posts himself, then you're going to be able to acknowledge we have to get rid of him, and we have to reshape the future of politics for all of our own well-being.
Okay, there's something that she said, because they've proven that it wasn't just him posting those things, right?
Right.
So they even admitted themselves. So kind of goes with what we talked about last night, how someone's purposely making him sound crazy for a
Yeah.
reason,
Just
right?
like she said, being misled. He's being told he saved millions, and possibly so.
Yeah,
Who
I mean,
knows? But vice versa.
he depends on his cabinet to
Yes.
tell him the things, and that's who he listens to instead of, he's not listening to the people. He needs to listen to the people.
Well, it's weird how they skated right past all this COVID, and once the vaccines came out, they all just went silent about COVID. They don't even talk about it no more.
Right.
Why is that?
Kennedy,
If he did so good, well, how come he ain't running on it?
Kennedy went the same thing with his cabinet telling him, even the generals were telling him wrong information to get him into a war, right?
If they did so great with Operation Warp Speed, how come Harris didn't attack Trump, and how come Trump didn't attack Harris
Right.
during their presidential debates about their handling of COVID and what took place? How come both sides agreed not to talk about it?
Right.
Hmm.
So she's saying it's just on him alone, but it's not, because they all have powers behind them, right? So there is a Supreme Court case being held. They're listening to is about the state of emergency health powers. The case is about the Supreme Court to decide how much power states have during public health emergencies and whether those powers violate constitutional rights. It centers on whether states can force quarantines, shut down businesses or schools, restrict travel, mandate vaccines or treatments, override local governments during emergency. The legal question is whether these actions are legitimate state police powers, or whether they violate due process, equal protection, or federal authority limits. This case reached the Supreme Court. Several states passed expanded emergency power laws after COVID-19. Some of these laws allowed governors and health departments to declare emergencies without legislative approval, right? So there's checks and balances. Extend emergency orders indefinitely, restrict movement or gatherings, and impose health mandates. Multiple lawsuits argue These powers are too broad and give the executive branch unchecked authority. Federal appeals courts disagreed with each other, which forced the Supreme Court to step in. What the Supreme Court is deciding is each item below indicated a guided link. If you go, okay, never mind. How far state police powers go? Can states restrict liberty or public health without violating due process? Whether governors can act without legislators. Some states gave governors unilateral authority. If emergency orders can override constitutional rights, courts disagree on the limits. Whether federal law preempts state health mandates, especially when interstate travel or commerce is affected. This case could redefine the balance of power between states, citizens, and the federal government. So that's a good case that you want to keep track of.
Yeah. Also, the reason why I have that on the screen is because of what Marjorie Taylor Greene says, talking about getting rid of Trump. Getting rid of Trump doesn't change anything,
No,
folks. The system is still there.
there
You
just
get what I'm
be somebody
saying?
else that comes
So
into
that's
power.
why it was important for us to wake up to who we are and that we have the power, and the power is inherent in the people, regardless of who the puppets are in there in this shit show, right? So now they're kind of stabbing each other in the back, going at each other, right? But the truth is the truth, and so anyone who thinks that removing Trump has no idea who J.D. Vance and Peter Thiel are,
Right.
and who backs them. Palantir, right? Or what kind of country they would build with unchecked power, the unchecked power that they gave this Trump administration. Remember that? Y'all were like, they were like, yeah, no due process. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. If you okay it with Trump, then whatever they replaced Trump with, you just gave them unchecked power, guys.
Right.
Like, that's why it was important to hold the line on stand on principles, right?
And not party.
And not party. Party over principles. Right? They're putting party over principles.
Or the person, right?
Right, yeah.
Because that sets precedence for whoever comes next.
Yeah.
Right? And that's
what
what's
they're
happened.
doing.
Every president has been yielded more and more power with each presidency.
Look at LBJ after
Yes.
Kennedy, right? I get LBJ vibes with JD Trance.
Yeah.
I call him JD Trance because you got to be in a trance to believe that shit. Hillbilly Deluxe, is that what he's
Hillbilly.
He's from the hills of Montana. I mean, West Virginia or something.
Yeah.
All right, so there we go. Yeah, I play Marjorie Taylor Greene just to bring about the vaccine thing. As far as what boots on the ground, but as far as I don't agree with everything she says or does. There's some things that I don't like her investments in Palantir and other things she invested in to enrich herself.
Yes.
So, I mean, it is what it is. You just got to understand each one of these people have some kind of part to play in all this. All right, so that was the hard pill, right? That's why Fauci's, because Trump thinks everything was great, so therefore you have no arrest. Fauci's, he lied to Congress and then is walking scot-free. Meanwhile, we're talking about putting out posts like this, talking about no games. If you hurt Americans or are planning to hurt Americans, we will find you and we will kill you. Well,
I believe he said we will kill you.
Yeah, that's a little much, ain't it? Like no trial?
No, just kill you.
Like, no trial. So it's like, where's that same energy when we're dealing with this guy, right? These two and all the stuff they've done. That's my point tonight.
Yeah, I'm not too afraid of other countries coming after us. I'm more nervous about the people we've got right here.
All right. So the disrespected trucker says, this government has really broken the American spirit. We're literally watching them build surveillance centers and we do nothing. We allowed a mad scientist to inject our population with a experimental technology that killed and injured people and we do nothing. We allow Big Pharma to inject our children with poison causing death and autism and we do nothing. We allow the media to spread lies and withhold the truth, causing a majority of our population to be completely unaware and brainwashed and we do nothing. Some of those people, my neighbors, lost their lives over the misinformation and disinformation during COVID and shutting people down for comparing the coronavirus with the flu season and lining up the 450,000 deaths per year with the flu with the coronavirus deaths. See what I'm saying? So where were the vaccines for? If that was just a seasonal flu, why did they have to lie to people to get them to do something that they normally wouldn't do with the right information instead of the fear porn that scared so many elderly people into the hospital with the hospital protocols? You know, let's put the vaccine to the side. Let's look at the hospital protocols and how many deaths that was, how many people were killed and then labeled they died of COVID on their death certificates so they can get paid. Did we forget? Like they were killing Americans for profit.
Right.
And we did nothing. All right, so that's Marjorie. Let's get boots on the ground in Kentucky. America first. They're going to start removing it looks like they're going to remove all the people that have been backed by foreign agents, countries, PACs. They're going to go around and make sure that they get all the locals up to come out and vote. America first.
Right.
Or
in the same system, though.
that's
what I have a problem with.
I see what you're saying.
You see what I mean? It's still under the U.S. Corp, so that's, I don't know.
Well, let's hear it out.
Okay.
Hey, what's going on, Laura? I was hoping you'd be here. I thought you were America first, and you totally support the U.S. Constitution. Would love to see you out here. We're going to be here through Wednesday, making sure that your girl Miriam and Susie Wiles spends. I mean, 20 million is not going to be enough. I think you need to spend at least 250 million.
Okay, he's calling out Susie Wiles, Muriel Madison, Laura Loomer, all of those people right there. That's what he's doing right here. So they know that they've infiltrated within the APAC has put so much money into local.
Yeah.
Look, they put 12 million
They're
into
directing
Ed.
it, yeah.
Yeah, so they're out there like, okay, you're not going to come out here with 12, 14, 20, 30, 40 million dollars in our local communities and think you're going to interfere in our local elections and buy your candidate.
Right.
So they're exposing them, and this is it's what you want to see, right? This is good.
And then that money is not going to
go back. All right, so Laura Loomer, let's start it over here.
Loomer. Hey, what's going on, Laura? I was hoping you'd be here. I thought you were America first, and you totally support the U.S. Constitution. Would love to see you out here. We're going to be here through Wednesday, making sure that your girl Miriam and Susie Wiles spends. I mean, 20 million is not going to be enough. I think you need to spend at least 250 million, and then that money is not going to be able to buy off more Republicans, because that's what we're all about. So from now until September 15th, I'm going to lay out the plan. Delaware is the last state that has primaries. We're going to be picking off all of you America's seconders that are in the Republican Party. We're going to be picking you off one by one. And guess what? It's not going to stop there. Even if you're able to survive some of these races, the momentum and avalanche is going to build. We're going to do to all of you what we're doing to Ben Shapiro, deleting his platform. He's going to have to fire and lay off everybody. You know what? We're going to doge Ben Shapiro. And then from there, we're going to doge Mark Levin. And from there, if you're going to still continue to resist the America First movement, we're going to continue to doge not only our government, but anybody that's advocating for any foreign non-American interests. Thank you for your attention in this matter, Miss Wiles.
I have a comment. So to Laura Loomer, she needs to recognize that the American people are removing whatever moral authority she thought she had. So she don't take her trust me bro sources and shove it up her cocaine ass.
Let's go, baby. Oh, wait, last comment. I forgot to mention Chris LaCivita. Dude, you're burning through money fast. And so tell Miriam I said hi. Tell Paul Singer that his self-mutilation promotion, you know, what they call the tranny stuff, all the funding he did for that, you're probably going to have to...
Yeah, these are the Epstein class people that he's talking about, Miriam Madison and Paul Singer. These are the people that are trying to remove Massey, the ones that are actually in the files.
Right.
Right.
spend a little bit more so that maybe we can just bankrupt
Or
you.
give someone
And
some head.
how about we bankrupt faux news while we're at it? Oh, I already talked about that. Mark Levin. Who else is out there?
Laura Ingram. Who else?
They need to find
Venture
another-
Bureau.
they need to
The whole
go into-
Daily Wire.
You might as well go independent. Everybody, all the other critical thinkers did.
Lenny
Megyn
Jackson.
Kelly left, right? All these folks left. So maybe you should find a new career, because if not, we're just going to yank you out with our natural, authentic, truth-telling, in-your-face, whether it's how Ryan does it, at the street level, or maybe sometimes I have to make lawyerly noises to put you in your place. Stay tuned.
Let's go, baby. We call this the Great American APAC Purge.
There you go.
Right? So, in this book, the letters of patent ex cathedral, termination of occupation, liberating planet Earth, it says the people are the
Really
sovereigns.
noises to put.
The people are the sovereigns. The people, without determination forms for the exercise of sovereignty, not as citizens of the United States, nor as citizens of various states, but the whole people as organized in government to express and adjust their will, either directly or through representation. At the present time, the people of the United States are politically organized under constitutions in a dual form of government. This is an accident, but the people are not an accident. They could change or abolish both their dual form of governments and their constituents. Even the clause in Article 5, which provides that no state without its consent shall be deprived of its equal suffrage in the Senate, could probably be amended through some state should not consent. At any rate, while there is no right to a revolution, after a revolution has been accomplished, it is legal, and a new constitution established thereby is then legal. So you have to have a revolution first. This power of a revolution substantiates the doctrine that the people are sovereign and shows that neither the states nor the Constitution is sovereign. At the present time, the sovereign powers of the people are exercised by the various organs of the government through the joint action of the state and federal governments. Again, these organs of government are an accident. They are not sovereign. The people could change their constitution and exercise their sovereignty in some other way, as through the initiative of referendum. The people have made the states and the nation artificial personalities to which the name state is given. They have created no artificial personality to correspond with the people as a whole, viewed as a political unit. But this is of no importance. Sovereignty does not depend upon personality anymore. Then personality depends upon sovereignty. Wilby agrees that governmental organs are not sovereign. By the same argument, the states of the nation are not sovereign. Both are like individuals before the law. Otherwise, the Constitution would not recognize rights, privileges, or immunities of individuals against the states and nation. Just as the colonies were not sovereign, though given almost complete autonomy, because the mother country still had the power of control. So neither the nation nor the states are sovereign because the people have the power of control. So basically it's saying we have to have a revolution, and then after that we can change the Constitution, right? We can get rid of all the seats, but we have to have people fill it.
There you go. All right, so Pete has said here is definitely not in the Epstein files or has any ties to APAC or any foreign aid countries, and definitely didn't start the war in Iran to distract us from those Epstein files coming out. So it's really strange that the guy that's supposed to be at war with Iran is going to Kentucky to try to get rid of unseat Thomas Massey.
Mm-hmm.
It's a conflict of interest, isn't? That's not his job. Well, what are you campaigning for, sir?
Right.
You're the Secretary of War. What are you doing in Kentucky? What are you worried about? What did Massey say about the dog barking?
Dog that hasn't barked.
Right? No.
Oh, that was Epstein.
He says, "Why is he barking?"
Yeah.
Like right.
Right.
Like Bill Cooper said, Just put something out and you'll just see them. You'll see how they respond. Look at Pete Hegseth. He's responding. He's supporting the AIPAC guy. He's not America first, guys. That's Israel first. That's MIGA. MIGA. Make Israel great again. That's why you're at war with Iran. That's Israel's bitch. Right? And I got video of his handlers. He's got handlers that following him around. Right?
Right.
Let me pull it up here for you. Why would you be so concerned about the Thomas Massey?
Is that? That's the Secretary of War right now.
Watch Tucker Carlson realize why the Zionist lobby, led by Norm Coleman of the Republican Jewish Coalition, pressured Trump to install Pete Hegseth as U.S. Secretary of War.
What is going on here? It's enough to make the hair on your arms go up. Did everyone know there was an effort to rebuild the third temple and the foundation stone except me? This is considered so esoteric and weird and crypto-historical and religious and kind of culty and what's Chabad, and that no one ever mentions it. But here's Pete Hegseth, football player from Princeton, going on about it in a way that suggests he's thought a lot about it. This is 2018.
And it got me thinking about another miracle that I hope all of you don't see too far away. Because 1917 was a miracle, 1948 was a miracle, 1967 was a miracle, 2017, the declaration of Jerusalem as the capital was a miracle, and there's no reason why the miracle of the reestablishment of the temple on the Temple Mount is not possible. I don't know how it would happen, you don't know how it would happen, but I know that it could happen.
What is that? That's the Secretary of War right now, overseeing the war with Iran that people fighting it are starting to say actually is about rebuilding this third temple. It's the same man.
Maybe he was told he can't get that third temple if he don't get Massey unseated in Kentucky. I don't know.
Right.
But he has no business in Kentucky.
And with them doing the construction, was that even approved by the Congress to redo the White House?
No.
Okay. And whose house is that?
Trump's house.
No, it's ours.
Well, if you look at the website, it says Trump's White House.
So along with the data centers and all this other stuff, I was going to read this right here because this tells you exactly what we can do, because all those are corporations, right? So the corporations has weaponized against we the people. So today we see the weaponization of corporations against the beneficiaries, which is us. We're the beneficiaries. Google, Facebook, Twitter, CNN, Fox, etc., to name a few, are private corporations who operate under a grant and license issued by the people's delegate agents within the various states. The grantee operating under the state issued grant or license to an entity issued under their delegated authority is an extension of franchise of that delegated authority and comes with a fiduciary duty to the trust and the oath of the fealty to the beneficiary. These corporations use of censorship against the beneficiaries to interfere with the election process, the forwarding of false narratives, and or foment insurrection and civil conflict is contrary to their grant and license and constitute war against the beneficiaries. So them giving us false information, censoring us, all that stuff is against we the people. So the internet is the creation of the United States military, established and developed with trust resources and are thus assets of the trust. So those are our assets. Those who use the internet do so by the grace of the sovereign, right? Because we're all sovereign, are subservient to and owe an oath of fealty to the sovereign. The courts have declared the corporations are persons, right? I read that. I told you that last time. Supreme Court had ruled back in, I think, 1940s, that a corporation was a person enjoying the rights thereof, yet the corporation can never be sovereign. For the sovereign is the source of the law, while the corporation is a construct of the law and subservient to man and man's law. Corporations licensed by the state are public servants owing fealty to the people as the sovereign authority is source of the law. So we have established a feudal relationship that began in the beginning wherein God granted man dominion over all things. We have established the chain of title for the property through the feudal grants to the Vatican via the keys of St. Peter in 63 AD, to the Holy Alliance in 1213, conveyance of property to the Pope and subject grant back to the King, to the Treaty of Paris, Treaty of Peace, wherein the founding fathers were issued a papal grant to administrate America. The Constitution is a federal agreement authorizing the establishment of an administrative body and identifies the people as the sovereign, and thus the Lord. To establish the power of authority to be granted delegated to the vassal state, as well as the limitations and responsibilities of the vassal United States. We see the feudal escheat firmly seated within the abandonment and eminent domain statutes of every state. The military draft is a feudal construct. The homeowner is identified on the mortgage and deed as tenants rather than owners. The federal structure remains deeply embedded into America and the global geopolitical structure. The right of the sovereign to escheat seize the property back to the king, the sovereign, to be re-granted to a more acceptable vassal is well established. The corporations operate by the grace of the sovereign, which is all of us, and we are therefore subservient to and owe obedience to the sovereign. The corporations today operate under grant and license issued by the state and are an extension of sanctuary vassal state, with each owing a fiduciary duty to the trust and the beneficiaries thereof to operate in the best interest of the trust and for the benefit of the beneficiaries. If and when it has been determined that a corporation has been or is being weaponized against the sovereign people, the people have the absolute right to withdraw said grant and license and or to exercise their absolute sovereign right of the sheet to seize the corporation and return it to the control of the sovereign to be re-granted to a more acceptable vassal. So we can seize it from them and their licenses because they are harming the people. That's what we are given the power to do.
Right. It also says in the Bible's scripture, it says he gave us the authority to trample on snakes and scorpions.
Yes.
Right.
So, we can sit there and but we can actually take that data center from them and pull their license because they're not operating in the best interest of we the people. Damn. And we're not happy with it. Same thing with YouTube and all these people censoring us. And to hand it over to somebody that can operate it correctly.
Right here, authority given in the serpent's verse. The serpent's verse refers to Luke 10:19, 119, where Jesus says, "Behold, I have given you the authority to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall hurt you."
Right.
So this verse comes after Jesus has sent out the disciples with authority to preach, heal, and cast out demons. So in Luke 10:18, he praises them for casting out the demons, and in verse 19, he affirms their empowerment. You see what I'm saying right there? He affirms their empowerment. The imagery of treading on serpents and scorpions is symbolic of overcoming evil and danger while over all the power of the enemy. Refers to spiritual authority over Satan and his forces. Right? It said dark versus the battle between good and evil. What do you think evil is?
Right. And we are the sovereigns, right? We have more power. We entrusted them, or our forefathers entrusted them to manage. But when they don't manage it correctly, then we take over. That was the deal that our forefathers made with them when that was established, right? That they would serve in our best interest, not rule over us, not tell us what to do, right? It's us that determine all that. And people forgot that. That's how much power we have. We haven't been exercising it.
Tacit compliance. We gave up our power. We forgot who we were and our authority.
Right.
But we're here to remind you. That's what we're going to remind you of, and what we've been reminding the people of this whole time. We haven't been waiting on anybody. We've been waiting on ourselves to get the hell out of our own way.
Right.
Come together.
So the government was never supposed to rule over us. It was only supposed to manage it, right? It would be entrusted to manage certain things, not tell us what we can and cannot do. Each person is the king of their own castle and is sovereign as long as you don't hurt anybody. That's when that changes, right?
Right.
If you harm somebody.
So symbolic and spiritual victory, the serpent and scorpion represent danger, temptation, and evil. Treading on them means triumph over these threats. Divine protection, nothing shall hurt you, is a promise of God's protection from harm, both physical and spiritual. Authority over evil. This verse affirms that believers empowered by Christ can resist and defeat spiritual opposition. Encouragement. It also reassures followers that God's presence and power can guard them even in dangerous and hostile situations. All right, here we go. Constitution. Inherent political power, Republican form of government. All political power is inherent in the people, and all free governments are founded on their authority and instituted for their benefit. The faith of the people of Texas stands pledged to the preservation of a Republican form of government, and subject to this limitation only, they have at all times the inalienable right to alter, reform, or abolish their government in such a manner as they may think expedient.
Right.
Massey, look at this parking lot. As far as the eye can see, guys, I had to park so far away. I'm trying to point here, but oh yeah, my big ass figure is gonna get in the way. So that's as far away as I had to park. This entire parking lot is full. People were like, oh, Massey can't pull a crowd. Massey can't pull a crowd, because we were at some local diners last minute. And I don't know how we organized all this. We were putting it together literally last minute. And about, I don't know, 20 out of 100 people that showed up yesterday were like, oh my gosh, we had no idea this was going on. We watched your videos and we just showed up. And look at everybody. Everybody's rocking their Massey gear. Massey signs all over the place. The house is absolutely packed. Everybody couldn't be more excited to be here. It's raining out. We had to put up tents this time. And here we go, baby. My mics aren't working, so I'm just talking over this video because I didn't realize that I recorded it. And then I'm sitting over here to edit it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't record it. There we go, man. Casey's in the house. Casey rocking that America First hat, baby. That's what this is all about. This is the America comeback. The great America comeback started here in Kentucky, and historians will write volumes about the ground game that Tiffany put together and the way that we pulled this out of our ass. We got David Riley in the house. My man, David Riley, great to see you, homie. David Riley, and I'm sitting here talking. I'm like, hey, man, who's all here? And he's like, yeah, dude, did you see Matt Gaetz is there? And I'm like, what? Your boy Matt Gaetz is in the house. Matt Gaetz got sidelined by the machine itself, eating out, spitting up. Allegedly, he tried to take down the banking cartels, and that didn't go so well. So we had that. And we just got a packed crowd, man. Everybody's showing up. They're showing their love for Thomas Massey. It's what this place is all about. There's Thomas Massey himself. Check that stud out, dude. Everybody absolutely loves this dude. I've never seen somebody that's been so loved and appreciated by the people in his pastor, in his group. And you know, we are sending a message to AIPAC loud and clear that this election cycle is not for sale. And what we're doing is we're laying the groundwork. We're laying the groundwork for the rest of the country to follow. You know, we realize that we can't wait till we get to the midterm elections because they've already bought all of our AIPAC politicians. So it starts right here on the ground. And what you see is you see people like Ryan Matta that have fled this country because his state is cooked. But now there might be hope for Michigan when people start organizing at the grassroots level. We got an America First candidate, Matta, that wants to, you know, force AIPAC to register as a foreign agent. Can you come help us put a ground game together? Your boy is going to come back and he's going to deliver for you, just like we're down here delivering for Kentucky. And all they can do is smear Thomas Massey, try to smear me, try to smear everybody in this bullshit, but nobody's buying their fake news shit anymore. The Kentucky is not for sale, and historians are going to write volumes about the ground game that was done here. And this is going to be replicated all across our country, and it's going to send a message to AIPAC loud and clear, baby. Kentucky ain't for sale, and we are done buying your fake news, Fed slop bullshit. We're going to send Massey by a landslide victory, and Ryan Matt is the only one saying it. I think Massey takes this by 80 points. But that's just me. You got to help me deliver that. Get out and vote, guys. God bless. All right.
Yeah, I don't know if we got anybody from Kentucky in that area.
So that's part of the revolution, right? All these people standing up.
The sheepdogs. Isn't this kind of what Sarah Palin was doing?
No. Sarah Palin's establishment.
Yeah, she was she was part of the establishment.
It just seems like it's this grassroots thing, and we're all gonna.
No. I know those guys. That's why I'm playing it on here. Those are all. That guy you just seen is all. Those are all the X accounts in that location that you follow on X. They're all there live.
Okay.
Yeah, those are real people.
Yeah, I didn't get.
They're not politicians like Sarah Palin.
Yeah, I didn't get involved in any of this till President Trump. My grandmother was, but
Yeah, Sarah Palin's one that talked about flat Earth, basically saying she can see Russia from Alaska.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, she could.
Everybody laughed at her, but it's on a flat Earth you can.
Yeah. It's a lot closer than they tell us.
So these are the people locally. This isn't a politician. I'm bringing you the people's voice tonight. All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Wrapping up this rally, going to the next one. We got
Janine Bell Smith, known as JB.
Oh, JB here, local Northern Kentuckian that's ready to rock and roll. Looks like the stickers say Thomas Massey. Tell us why you're supporting Thomas Massey.
Well, first of all, Thomas Massey he looks for violations of the Constitution, and one of the big things that Thomas Massey does, he reads the bills and he pulls out all the pork barrel spending.
And that's a problem for the deep state, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I basically think he's the best we've got. I wish we had 365 Thomas Masseys in this country, making our rules, and regulations.
I'll one up you and say I want 435.
I'll go. I'll up you now. I'll give 500. How about that?
Okay, fair enough.
But
I give up.
My big mantra is we've got to get rid of flock automated license plate reading cameras. That is mass surveillance 24/7, 365 of the people of the United States of America. If you go onto the website called DFLOCK.org, you will find out that we are putting any state or anywhere these countries or flip that out. Anytime we do these cameras, they put them on, they put their locations. Now we have 3 flock automated license plate reading cameras right here in Villa Hills. But I live in Crescent Springs, and that was not passed because I did my homework. Now, these automated license plate reading cameras, they could read 2,000 license plates in 1 minute, and the standard area of deviation is 1 in 10 will be misidentified. That's way too high.
Wow. Last question. So we just did an interview with don't take this the wrong way. Don't beat me up for this question.
I might.
But this is to make sure that Thomas Massey has a fighting chance to win 90% of the vote. We just talked to the youngest voter in the district.
Yes, we did.
I'm a boomer, some people say. What message would you give to those still watching Fox News about this race and why you should support Massey?
Do you have 3-4 hours? I'll write your dissertation on this.
One reason.
One reason, Thomas Massey stands for the Constitution of the United States of America, and he would be one of our founding father patriots if he were alive back in the day.
And how would you describe the other guy?
I have a name for him. It's called Ego Ed Incorporated.
Okay, there you have it, America. There you have it, Northern Kentucky. There you have it, American citizens loyal to America.
Yeah.
Straight.
For establishment ed.
Did you get her on that? Did you do her? Get her going. Here she goes.
Do not vote for establishment ed.
Vote for constitutionally principled
conservatives. Thomas Massey.
No correlation or relation.
All right, let's hit the next one.
So that's boots on the ground right there, guys. They're speaking up. She even brought up the flock cameras. And it says, not all boomers are suckers for mainstream fake news propaganda. Grateful to see that those seek truth instead of being fed Fox News narratives.
Yes.
Because you got to understand they target our elderly and they don't even realize it. That's what's sad.
Right. Because you got to remember the establishment wanted to stay the same. Right. So they needed supporters to support the establishment. Right. You can't get rid of it, but we can change it. Right? We want people that go by the Constitution and don't want surveillance and listen to the people that listen to the people, right? And that want to serve the people.
Right. When you vote for somebody, you want something in return, don't you? Well, you've never been getting anything in return. You've just been getting shafted every cycle. We got to break the cycle. We got to break the generational curses.
That's right.
Right. We got to break the stronghold of this power that they have over us. All right. So here is the flock camera. This is what she's talking about. It scans 1,000 plates a minute. Check it out.
This is a flock safety camera, a solar-powered pole-mounted system designed to capture 6 to 12 images of passing vehicles along with metadata like time, location, and vehicle attributes. But the camera is only the edge of the system. That data moves through encrypted cellular links into Flock OS, the central platform where events are stored, indexed, and searched. From there, the software layer comes online. Tools like Flock Nova analyze patterns across location. The National LPR Network enables authorized cross-agency searches. Freeform allows natural language queries across massive data sets. And Investigations Manager organizes timelines and case workflows. The hardware expands beyond cameras too. Mobile security trailers, acoustic detection sensors, and drone systems like DFR and Aerodome can all feed into the same platform. What looks like a single roadside camera is actually one node inside a much larger software-driven network, connecting sensors, analytics, and response tools across thousands of communities.
All right, there we go. Man, you got to look at the cameras they got. There's so many of them. Here, check this out. There are 95,000. I showed you the Flock website that shows all the cameras. The only surveillance state I approve of is the one where citizens get to spy on their government.
Right. Yeah.
We need to put Flock cameras up in the Congress, right?
Everywhere.
We need to put it up at where they eat.
Flip it back on them.
We need to put Flock cameras all of their whole path of everywhere, from when they wake up to when they go to work to when they come home. I need to know.
If you want to serve, we need to know what you're doing.
I need to know what you're up to. Right? Submit. Right? You better comply.
Right? And we can do that. Just what I just read.
Are you being belligerent?
We can pull their license and give it to somebody that can operate it correctly.
Right. So the only place we should have Flock safety cameras are inside congressional offices, White House offices, lobbyist offices, and every restaurant inside a 15-block radius around the Capitol and White House. Oh, and body cams too, of course. This should be repeated for every state, local level government as well. And then we should repurpose a few of these mega data centers to stream it all 24/7 and analyze everything our government employees are saying and doing for free to the public.
Right. Like they did to us.
Yeah.
Let's flip it. That's an Esther moment, isn't it?
Yeah, there you go. Surround their homes with it, right? See how you like it.
Scanned, logged, and tracked by AI cameras across the country. This is already happening. Companies like Flock Safety have deployed tens of thousands of AI-powered license plate readers in cities and towns all over America. These cameras automatically scan your license plate, record the time and location, and use AI to log your movements, often storing the data for weeks or months at a time. While some states are trying to add restrictions and require warrants, many places still allow this with little oversight. That trip to the doctor, the late-night drive home, taking your kids to school, all of it can be tracked and stored without you ever knowing. License plate is being scanned, logged, and tracked by AI cameras across the country.
Right, and they say overall 90% of Americans are good people. Well, if 90% of us are good people, then why are we being treated like we're 100% of the bad people?
Because we've been the enemy of the state.
There you go.
Like I posted earlier, when Lincoln, right, Henry's Corporation is what it says. He even said that it was the Jesuits. He blamed the Civil War on the Jesuits, and it's been like that ever since. So we've been considered the enemy of the state,
and that's why they treat you like that at traffic stops. That's why they treat them like that at the traffic stop.
Yeah,
they don't know,
because they didn't want us to. If we started remembering what powers we have, right? They wanted to intimidate us.
Yeah,
so we'd be too scared do what we're constitutionally supposed to do.
And when you exercise your rights, they call you a sovereign citizen, and
Yes.
that you have a constitutional ideology, as if that's something of the past. But yet we want to sit here and say we're celebrating and rededicating the country to God, right? Well, which God are you talking about? Government ordinances and departments,
Right.
right?
Right.
So we're in a surveillance state. But what? So
Well,
you get
it's
it?
always been God's. So why do we have to give it back to what's already always has
And
been?
why do you got to fly to DC to do it?
We're supposed to be stewards of the land.
Yeah.
And we need to rededicate it ourselves to making sure it's done properly is what we need to do on behalf of the Creator, because he left it to us to make sure everything's done right. So I looked up the earliest data centers, and they had them back in the 1940s. It was the first known example, built in 1945 to the house of the ENIAC computer at the University of Pennsylvania, right? And then they expanded in the 1950s into government and military sites. Additionally, early data centers were built at West Point, the Pentagon, CIA headquarters, and continuing the trend of specialized rooms for large computing systems. In the 1960s and 1970s, commercial adoption as mainframes became more common. Business and universities began building computer rooms, which evolved into early data centers. So they have them in almost every campus. Did you know that? They've had them for a long time, right? The largest one is in Aberdeen, Maryland. It became a major military computer site after ENIAC was moved there in 1947. Then West Point, then the Pentagon, Washington, D.C., and the CIA headquarters at Langley, Virginia. So they used to use air-driven cooling. Then they switched it to water, and that's when the same time around between 1940 is when they came out with the CDC, and all these people, all these cancer, all these illnesses started appearing. They had to get the CDC in. But it's kind of funny that these data centers came about the same time everyone was starting getting sick.
And why are we talking about data centers over and over and over? I remember this, what we covered last night.
Yes.
What a lot of people don't know, and this is directly related to data centers, is that Thomas Massie holds a very high-ranking seat on the Judiciary Committee. If he loses his election, then the state of Kentucky loses that seat, and we lose his position to effect change through the Judiciary Committee. Well, 2 weeks ago, in Judiciary, there was a very quiet introduction of a bill that was about to pass unanimously. Both sides of the aisle were paid to pass this bill, and it was the Protect American AI Act, I think. And he single-handedly killed this bill.
Wow.
That was granting immunity to data center developers for any harm they cause your community.
Unbelievable.
That was going to happen 2 weeks ago, and Thomas Massie killed that bill.
Crazy.
And nobody knows. There's not a single article anywhere written about that. Well, who do we think paid to make sure nobody knew? Data centers are a flash in the pan, hot button issue right now. They do not want anyone knowing that he killed that bill. There is nobody that believes that a data center should be able to build across the street, destroy my home values, destroy my water table, maybe poison my children, and I shouldn't be able to sue to hold them accountable.
There you go, right?
That's right.
You agree? I think
agree.
we could all agree. So that's what was important about this race. That's why people are showing up, man. This is bigger than what you think.
Right.
All right, it
I
sends
mean,
a ripple
we gotta have
effect.
Something,
It sends a
somebody
ripple
that can
effect.
change something.
I like to see APAC get punched in the nose.
I don't have a lot of faith in the current system, how everything's kind of been playing out, especially in my life, because I was very liberal at the very beginning of my younger years, and I still kind of believe I am somewhat liberal based on the actual definition of liberal. Like, I believe in liberty. And kind of since then, I've been fucked over and screwed over, just because people in charge seem to not really give a shit. And I think Thomas Massey does give a shit. The 24 presidential election was the first one I ever voted in because I thought it mattered. And boy, I don't know. I'm still kind of torn because I kind of feel like I got not represented by my actual vote. And this will be the first primary that I do vote in. Because like I said, I don't feel represented based on my previous vote. And I think this one does matter. I really think it matters just because the amount of effort telling you to not do it really fucks with me. And like, I mean, I'm a big podcast guy. I'm sure you guys know Dave Smith. I like a lot of what he says. And like, I still kind of struggle with putting myself into a box of like Republican or Democrat or Libertarian because I kind of find myself being a hypocrite here and there. But I really don't like when there's such a strong presence trying to dissuade me from certain beliefs or anything like that. It's really hard to put into words because I just feel like there's some type of force that doesn't want him in there. And especially like over the last few days, like, I mean, like the shitty smear campaign and that thing against him. I mean, how coincidental, when has a Kentucky primary ever been nationally like something saying like, hey, we need to push back against these, people that throw in it's not all their money. I mean, they're some of the richest people. So we can only do what we can do. And I think voting in this primary is definitely that. I mean, I donated. I don't have a lot to donate or whatever, but voting is something I definitely can do. So
Crush that, buddy. Yes.
Like, they're out there getting it.
Ouchie, ouchie, ouchie. Fauci. The Fauci investigation. Ouchie, Fauci. The Fauci investigation in Congress with the whistleblower that just testified that he covered up the coronavirus, all the lab origins of the coronavirus. We now know that was all a big lie. We know our reporting was right. It was a military live exercise. And we'll get to why we're in Washington here for the Washington hospitals. But most people don't realize in this investigation, as Congress was petitioning and subpoenaing the records for Fauci and Fauci's underling, his henchman, Munster, he's the guy who weaponized coronavirus, has a whole bunch of history with monkeypox, has history with Ebola, every hemorrhagic fever, every NATO war weapon you can think of from the Erasmus lab. I just spent the week in Montana looking at him now being brought into Montana along with other people from the Erasmus lab, like Emmy DeWitt, sort of NATO importing their bioweapons scientists into Montana. Now, what is interesting is there's not one pandemic that is potentially issued here by sending a patient here from Montana when Fauci's records are subpoenaed on October the 30th by Congress. Someone is bitten in a lab in Montana in this Munster's laboratory, the monkey bite guy. And instead of driving him 30 miles north to St. Patrick's Hospital, where they've already had a prearranged condition to quarantine people that may be coming from the lab, the person is sent here. This is when the subpoenas go out for Fauci. Almost right afterward, this guy gets bit by the monkey. Mr. Monkey Bite gets bit by the monkey, and instead of taking him to the closest hospital, he gets sent here to Washington. Now, wouldn't that start a pandemic? Would the people here at this hospital or the people at the other hospitals know about that procedure with the Hamilton lab? Probably not. They probably would treat them differently at the emergency room here, and that could cause an outbreak. Now, who would want to cause an outbreak? Who would want to start a pandemic when you can prevent the pandemic by keeping them local? Well, if you were being investigated for the first pandemic, for the coronavirus pandemic, you may want to start a pandemic. And this is not speculation. This reporting came out from none other than Bobby Kennedy, the guy running HHS with Children's Health Defense Fund, came out and said that this monkey bite guy was sent here. We still don't know what hospital. The authorities haven't told us. We don't know what day. We don't know what pathogen. It could have been one of the hemorrhagic fevers, Congo-Crimea hemorrhagic fever. Could have been Ebola. Could have been monkeypox. But one of the hemorrhagic fevers, again, that's communicable, and it would go through a hospital like this and cause a great deal of problems. Or maybe he was a little bit later, in terms of November. And maybe even December. We don't know exactly the date, but we keep hearing this date being reported of November. We don't know the date. That's not the only incident of starting a pandemic to cover up the Fauci pandemic of coronavirus. That's not the only one, believe it or not. There's a second incident report. In March, late March, where Munster himself, not a person being bitten in the lab, Munster himself is bringing in monkeypox or Ebola. We've heard two different types of reports. Again, Bobby Kennedy. Again, Children's Health Defense is the source. He said he forwarded the information to the FBI and expected the people to be going to jail. We still have heard nothing about this. This story is unbelievable. A person who's being investigated for starting the first pandemic starts a second pandemic in November by sending somebody here to Washington unnecessarily, flying him into the Spokane airport and taking him into one of these hospitals, and then starts not only a first pandemic to cover up the coronavirus pandemic, but potentially starts a second pandemic. And no one's covering the story. We're a week in Montana, and now we're here in Washington. We're covering the story. We're going to find someone who knows the details of when this person was checked in, and we're going to keep on the story until we get the answers. Ouchie.
Why would they take them there? That doesn't even make sense.
No. No, so the Children's Defense, that's RFK's foundation, right? It's out of Pennsylvania.
Our country 2 years ago was 215,000. Today it's 400,000. And so kids today, like your kids and my kids, are never going to buy a home. There's three big companies, BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard. These are the biggest companies. Those three companies own 88% of the S&P 500. Wow. So they basically just own everything. And now what they've decided is they want to own every single family home in our country. Klaus Schwab says, famously, he says, under the Great Reset, you will own nothing, but you will be happy. They pay nothing for money. Their credit is so impeccable.
Oh, I see. They have like 900.
Yeah. Oh. So they got the better than the best credit rating.
But isn't that like privatized communism or something? That's what it feels like.
Well, yeah, it's like socialism for the rich, and this barbaric, merciless, ruthless, savage capitalism for the poor. The average home in our country 2 years ago was 200.
All right, 2 years ago, 215,000.
Today it's 400,000.
That's because of our debt, right? Our debt keeps going higher and higher because we went off the gold standard.
Can't pay off the debt with fiat.
Right. You can only pay off debt with real money, gold and silver. And it's not our debt anyway. It's the government's.
That was a really
not
good,
ours.
That was a really good clip of him.
Yes.
Yeah, I like the Children's Defense Foundation. I got his book, The Real Anthony Fauci, by R.K. Jr.
What would they have to say at the real?
Right. Because the one that they represent on TV is the fake one. I don't know, because he's not a doctor.
Real Anthony Fauci.
Have a clue. I think people think the war is coming. I don't think people are prepared for what is coming economically. I don't think people have a clue. I think people think the war is over. It was a bad idea. We shouldn't have done it. Oopsie. We'll spin it as to like we could have won but didn't want to. That'll be the spin. We could have killed them, but we didn't because we're a merciful nation. God only knows what spin we will have on this. We would have killed them and should have, but we have restraint and then we'll lie and we'll say that we made great progress and they would never think of having a nuke now. Why would they think of having a nuke now? And it's like, well, I could think of, I don't know, one big reason they'd want a nuke now more than ever. But we'll do something and will Israel let us get out of the war? Probably not. Let's just be honest. They're not going to let us get out of the war. They have no plans. Israel right now is like, no. We're not. No one's leaving the idea of this war. You can take breaks. You can take a beat. But the idea of regime change in Iran is not going anywhere for the Netanyahu government, by the way, or for the next government that's elected there. They don't care. They're not planning on letting us out of this war if they can help it. And they can. So talking to the guy that was checking us in the room last night, he was basically like, oh, yeah. I work at a high-end hotel and we've lost a lot of business because people are incredibly distraught. Not only are their countries being attacked, but the economic fallout from this is going to be massive and people don't get it. And I don't think your average American has a clue. I think some of them do. I think the prices are starting to go up. The price of fuel is higher. The price of goods at the local store are much higher. But I'm unaware if they know what's coming, because it seems to be that we're going to be in a whole lot of trouble.
Yeah, I remember the 2018 gas prices, housing market collapse. People are going to be in a bind. Foreclosures are going to increase, et cetera, et cetera.
And there's a Supreme Court ruling on that as well coming up about the housing, so that we don't have another 2008 housing crisis, right?
And
putting pressure on the government to do something.
Yeah, we just showed you who, well, RK just told you who owns all the houses.
Yeah.
1,000. And so kids today, like your kids,
right here,
my kids are never going to buy a home. There's three big companies, BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard.
And then we see Larry Fink with the data centers, BlackRock. All right. So this is what Charlie Kirk got in a way, right? This is the guy that woke him up.
You believe that the Jews run the American government.
That's not a secret, Charlie.
Well, no, I find it hilarious that
all of Trump's cabinet is Jewish. Israel did 9/11, Charlie.
Oh, they did. Wow.
Why are we in the middle? I served. Why were we in the Middle East?
So if Israel did 9/11, help me understand this. Who were the hijackers of the planes?
They weren't hijackers.
Oh, okay.
CIA and Israel worked together.
No. Explain to me what happened on the aircraft.
Okay, first off, what we have to understand, there's only one plane that actually crashed.
No,
okay,
there were three.
No, the buildings imploded. World War II was fought not over what everyone thought it was fought of. Every war is fought by, it is funded by the rich, the Rockefellers, all the rich, the Rothschilds.
Okay, so yeah, let me ask you a question.
They funded all those wars.
Was Hitler bad?
I think Hitler was bad, yes.
Did the Holocaust happen?
The Holocaust did happen.
How many people died?
Not 6 million.
How many?
It was not 6 million.
How many?
I don't have an exact number, Charlie.
Yes.
I don't have an exact number. It wasn't.
Okay, but you said it's not 6 million.
The reason why Jews have been run out of 109 countries throughout history is because every time they get into a country, they try and take it over. In Nazi Germany, again, they were having transgender surgeries, underground transgender surgeries. They were promoting homosexuality in schools.
Anti-Semitism.
We've been lied to since the beginning of this country. Jews, Freemasons, all of it's a satanic agenda. Israel is the synagogue of Satan. They're killing innocent people in Palestine over the guise of sovereignty. New World Order is coming, Charlie.
Guys, anti-Semitism is literally a brain cancer, as you could see.
How is this anti-Semitic, Charlie?
Yeah. Yeah, Charlie. All right. So these are debates. This is what you have. This is how you wake people up.
And that's
This was hot. The hot topic. I covered this when it happened. Right. The transgender surgeries. That's what Singer, the guy that's trying to spend all that money to get Massey out of his seat. That's what he does. That's what all your transgender, all this stuff that y'all were bitching about, is who's actually doing it was Israel.
in Nazi Germany.
Right.
We're doing it underground.
But I'm talking about recent now. Like when we seen all these trannies dancing in front of these children and the transgender mutilation and all that. Where do you think that comes from? Singer. He's on the Epstein files. He's trying to unseat Massey.
Right.
These people are sick. Speaking of that, it gets even sicker.
Brock Pierce, seen here at Donald Trump's golden statue ribbon cutting. Well, Brock here has quite the interesting past, and maybe it wouldn't surprise you, ties with Jeffrey Epstein. Pierce's background is actually as a child actor. He starred in The Mighty Ducks. Pierce later became a crypto entrepreneur. Here's a headline from The Hollywood Reporter in 2019 about Epstein's link to child star Brock Pierce. Pierce, in the early 2010s, began advising Epstein on a series of crypto investments. The two seemingly struck up a connection. 2012, Pierce emailed Epstein that he had a, quote, great time with the girls. And here is that email between Pierce and Epstein in 2012. Pedro Gonzalez also found information about how in 2000, Pierce and two friends fled Spain amid accusations of sexual abuse. In 2026, the Kyiv Independent did an investigation to unveil these new emails between Pierce and Epstein. You can read the whole bit here. That takes us back to the unveiling of this gold statue in Florida. Why was Pierce there? What connections does he still have to Donald Trump? He certainly is a supporter of him. Don't have the full answers, but I'll try to keep digging, follow along to see where this all ends up.
I think I know where it all ends up, right? What the connections are. Right, it's weird who they put in front of you, right, at these events. That was at a golf course in Florida.
Whenever I bring up the fact that our infrastructure is falling apart and it's Israel's fault, everybody goes, oh, you just would have blamed the Jews. All right, sit down and let me show you how it goes. Everybody knows about the federal funding we give Israel, yeah? And the country, America as a whole, gives federal funding. Every state in this country gives funding to Israel. Almost every city in every state gives funding to Israel. San Marcos, tiny little city in Texas, was going through its budget because they had a bunch of potholes. Because San Marcos went through their budget and said, wait a second, why are we giving $4.4 million to, we're a tiny city, to Israel? We have potholes, people can't even drive. So the city, the residents voted, we don't want to give them any money. Guess what old Governor Wheelchair Abbott said? Came rolling through, said, if you do that, you are not going to get any funding from the state or any of your federal funding. So yes, I am sure that Israel is a vassal state, and we are just willingly doing it.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Well, they've been doing that since World War II. Your state, they've been sending your estate to Israel since World War II to fund occupy Palestine. Yeah, your property taxes go there. Yeah, you wonder why your property tax, they need those shekels, man. Gotta get them shekels where the sheep will. Right,
People would just listen to this and not try to, because you saw how Charlie Kirk was trying to shut that guy down, shut him down. So
yes,
Charlie. Yeah, well, that changed him though. He didn't know.
he
That was the
have
one.
went and looked into it after
That was the debate that raised the flag.
Yes.
And you had a veteran debate Charlie, and Charlie, you seen how he tried to wiggle that, but
Yeah.
he started to change his tune, and that's when they were like, okay, get him off stage.
yeah, people need to go away from something like that and then go to sleep, go take a nap or whatever, and then it kind of comes into view. Like you can kind of understand what somebody's talking about after. Like you have to digest it. That's I guess.
Yes. And that's why debates are good.
Yeah.
Right. There's a couple young kids that do the debates on YouTube, but they haven't quite got there yet as far as they're still in the left-right paradigm.
Right.
And they dog the other side instead of having a healthy debate.
Common ground.
Right. Finding common ground.
They attack each other's positions with who they back versus policy.
Right.
And what do you say to Jewish people who may watch this and be utterly horrified by what they're hearing?
They can be horrified. I mean, I was horrified to find that they mass murdered Christians. I was horrified to learn the things that they teach in the Talmud. I was horrified that they think that Jesus is burning in shit in hell. I was horrified that they think that the Virgin Mary is a whore. I was horrified to learn that they think it's okay to steal from Gentiles. I was horrified to hear that there's, two sets of justice. I was horrified to find out that they think it's okay to, gang rape Palestinian prisoners. I was horrified about all those things. I'm horrified that we're funding a genocide right now. So they can be horrified.
Yeah. That time is here, baby.
Right.
We're there.
That's why they say don't call yourself a Judeo-Christian. That's an oxymoron. It's no, they're not the same.
It's cute. Hold on a second. Put that out of the equation. Trump was already in, and the plan was already rolling, and 17 was already there doing what they were doing, and they were locking shit down by states. Okay. Remember, church and state supposed to be separate. Now you're bringing the federal government. Not only that, the military government has Christian pastors. Might I add, they probably support Israel. All together, hanging out, and they're going to, do this disclosure and this release, and it's going to make everybody question religion. Well, if you know Christ and you're born again, you have discernment. You don't even have to worry about that because your relationship with God is completely different than the secular version of the WWE spectacular with Erica Kirk coming out and fireworks everywhere and all glory. That's not Christianity. Real Christianity is not in a building. Real faith and a real relationship with Jesus Christ and having that is not in a building.
Your heart. Right, it's when they point to the heart and all the photos that I've seen.
Trump becomes the first U.S. president to call for a national Shabbat. He wants everyone across religions, across communities, to observe the sacred Jewish tradition of the day of rest that starts from Friday evening to Saturday evening. Are you going to observe this holy Jewish tradition as a nation under Israel? This is why I say this entire world is a joke. You guys are going to actually follow, where some of you already are, following a nation that's known for housing pedophiles, human traffickers, child murderers, then uses hypersexuality of grown-ass men as blackmail to control their ideologies and political stances and able to inhibit you from actually having a decent life in this country. And you guys think that they are the children of the book and they are connected to the source in which gives the ruach of peace, love, and wisdom. So you really think that the Shabbat's on Friday evenings to Saturday evenings? I don't know why most of you do it. It's out of convenience and not out of scripture. Because if you go to Enoch 78:14, it says the new moon, which is the first day where the light first is being received upon the moon, which is called the first day. If you go to Psalms 81:3 and multiple translations, it says, blow the trumpet at the new moon, which is a statute in the book of Numbers, chapters 10 through 15. Then it says, blow the shofar at the full moon, the day of our feasts. If you go to Sirach, Ecclesiasticus 43:7-8, it says, the moon is a sign of feasts, a light that decreases in her perfection. So at the time of feast, what is the moon's perfected state? It is a full moon. The next verse after that, it says the month is called after her name. A light that is increasing. So if the light is increasing, that is also a backup to Enoch 78:14 of what the first day of the month is. There's nowhere in scripture that says anything about Friday to Saturday Shabbats. There's nowhere in scripture that says anything about the Gregorian calendar. The Most High's calendar is 364 days, which leaves 30 days in a month, with 4 days added in for the time of the seasons. Because time has sped up, and I already made a post about this, since time is sped up, the moon is out of order or out of season 10 days too soon. So we're in a 354-day calendar. And the way I can back this up is by using the 3 major feast days, Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot. If you go through Leviticus 23, these feast days, well, the Feast of Matzah is on the 15th day. Shavuot is on the 15th day, or in the middle of the month. And the reason why we have Shavuot, because it's the day that Isaac was born. That was Abraham's first fruit. If you go to Sukkot, it starts on the 15th day. The moon at that time is full. And I guarantee you, if any of you following Judaic calendars of all these feast days, I guarantee you from year to year to year, feast day to feast day to feast day, your moon phases are all out of whack. It should be full moon every single year, undisturbed. Every single year if you're doing it right. If your moons are all out of whack, then I guarantee you your Shabbats are all out of whack. Simple, easy. I don't know how this is so hard to get, especially people who know scripture and keep telling people to follow Friday and Saturday Shabbats. It's insane to me because you have not backed it up with scripture.
Yeah. See, they're on the Gregorian calendar. They're not doing it with the moon. Sam.
I know. They
Those 5
changed the
calendars in the
time,
sky.
like they said. They would change the times and dates.
Yeah. Says that in the
So
scripture.
it's not even the celebrations they're doing is not even correct on the correct
Hey,
times.
yeah.
So what are we doing?
The hell? They hijacked the religion. That's what happened.
Right?
That's what
Somebody
happened.
said to me today about the Jubilee. I said, Jubilee is for the Jews. It's in the name. Jubilee. Yeah, that's for the Jews.
Judaism. Right, it's right here.
Bruce said this video shows satanic abuse, communicating symbols. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, would you believe Judaism? Right, so what you see is that I think the Zionist Christians and the Zionist Jews are in the heading to the District of Criminals to rededicate the country to corporation. The United States is a corporation, not a company. I mean, not a country, it's a company.
Right. So that's the only thing I have about Massey is even if he's trying to do the right thing for real, you can't do it within that system. It would have to be done separate to create a new republic, right? You
Right.
can't
That's
do
what I've been having a problem with all this. You know, like go voting. Let's get everybody else out of there. Massey's our guy. That's why I've been having a difficult time with this. You know, like
right.
because I'm so far into the other
Well,
yeah.
right. When I play that, that doesn't mean that I'm telling anyone to go participate in the bullshit. That's each and everyone has their own free will. You do what you want. I'm not here to tell you yes or no or do it. I'm here to tell you you have the right to do whatever you want to do.
That's right. That's why information, right? That's why this was so awesome that everyone could put out all their research, take what you resonates with you, right? And you decide for yourself.
Right.
But that's what was important, because without knowledge and education, you can't make change.
Right.
Right. So you'll just, if you just don't watch any of this stuff, then you wouldn't get all this information from all different people. Because everyone brings something they've researched. Everyone brings something important.
Yeah, and this stuff all has to be played out for all of the people that aren't paying attention, like thoroughly
they're-
paying attention.
They're seeing it now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So here's another little clip to explain. It's bigger than Massey. This is the people. He's their only voice in there, and he's the one that fucked it up for the data centers to have immunity.
Right.
Right. So that's the issue. That's the big. Without that, then we're all screwed. You
Well,
can't.
like just what I read.
Same thing with the vaccines.
Back in I think it was the 1940s. I can't remember the exact. When the Supreme Court gave corporations, labeled them as people having the same rights as the sovereigns, that's what's wrong.
Well, that's all going to go against them in the end, because their law is going to go against them in the end.
That's right. That's right. And that's what the Chevron doctrine was, to get rid of that, right? That they are not sovereign, that they do not, they're independent as a company, right? Beholden to the sovereign, which is us.
Bada bing, bada boom.
People around the country are headed to Kentucky this weekend to support Thomas Massey because this election is good versus evil.
We came all the way from California, and I don't know if I'm going to cry, but I feel like I have an 11-week-old baby at home. I've never left him before, but I just felt this pull that this was so important to come. And I think because this is a spiritual war going on and you do represent good. I've never met you before. You know, I didn't even know too much about you, but I've done a lot of research. And so I feel like your wife is your angel. She's going to be with you. She's going to, you know, just like with the Epstein files, probably kick it across the goal line for you.
Right.
And maybe that's just a little hopeful, but I really do feel that is what all of this momentum and energy is.
So,
I hope.
so, guys,
I am
stop. Sorry. All right. There are members of Congress who they tell me on some of these votes, they're like, yours is the right vote. I just can't do that today. This is not but we'll talk about it in private. We'll go out to dinner. They're friends of mine. I know exactly how they feel. And they're like, I just can't die on this hill. I can't die on this hill today. But if I win, we can demonstrate that you can take this hill without dying. That politically, you can survive, live to fight another day, and you can fight all the righteous fights.
So it's really bigger than Massey, right? Getting all those people to come out and get involved, right, with removing AIPAC.
But
Right?
But you guys know I've been probably one of the most out.
Once they have the blackmail on them, their job, that's done. They're just done unless they want to face whatever they have.
That's why they got to be replaced.
Yeah, that's
all
it.
of them.
That's why it has to be. That's why I'm kind of leery about this. Right, running still within the corporation, because they still sounds like they want the corporate.
Well, these are your senators
stay
locally,
the
though,
way
right?
it is.
Right. I see
Yeah,
what
it's
you're
kicking
saying.
the can. It's just kicking it for another couple of years. It's
Exactly. So that's why I'm kind of leery about that. But like I said, we have to have a revolution first before we can legally change
Right.
the Constitution.
right.
So this could be a start of that. Maybe he won't get in and he decides to go off separate. That would be great.
Right.
I don't know. We'll see how this plays out.
You guys know I've been probably one of the most outspoken persons on these AI data centers and specifically the geoengineering of what they're spraying in our skies. And I met Kristen today at a Thomas Massey event, and she's an expert. She's a whistleblower. So we're going to make a bunch of different videos today. So stay tuned. This is probably just going to be one of about 10 or 20 that we're going to put together. And we're going to talk about a bunch of different topics. I want to start with the geoengineering of what they're spraying in our skies. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are first, I guess, so that way everybody gets to know you and your credentials, and then we'll kind of go from there.
So I am an exposure scientist. I work in occupational safety and health, but I'm a senior industrial hygienist and environmental specialist. But I worked for 9 years in bioenvironmental engineering in the U.S. Air Force. And actually, it was an Alex Jones film that made me want to call out and debunk geoengineering to find out that I was actually dealing with that coming through my office, because we would track chemicals from cradle to grave. And that completely changed my life, so to speak. And it's at the same time I found Ron Paul, actually. So geoengineering is very real. I have federal whistleblower protection. It's called stratospheric aerosol injection. And the goal is just to dim the sun because of the proclaimed climate change. But the really only climate change is man-made chemical engineering through the skies. So a lot of people are waking up to this. And I actually blew the whistle on this about 17 years ago. So imagine how I feel. I was demonized for years. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's being handled at the state levels. And there's actually an attorney. There's a group of attorneys in the geofight that are trying to ban this federally. So, and Thomas Massey, as we're here supporting him, has been a huge proponent in exposing the human and environmental impacts of geoengineering and how unnatural it is to alter Mother Nature.
So I want to know who, at the end of the day, it's our military that's giving out these contracts to these military contractors that are actually who's spraying the chemicals in our sky?
So I left active duty in the fall of 2010. And when I left, it was the DoD in charge of it at Air Logistics Centers. They were retrofitting aircraft, KC-135s and C-130s. Now, I know it's kind of morphed into private contracting operations. So I'm not sure who owns those contracts, but geoengineeringwatch.org, Dang Wigington and I have been working together for years, but it's very real. And the human and environmental impacts are not negligible.
Okay, so explain those really quick. We got about, try to keep these videos under 3 minutes, but like just bullet point, what are the worst impacts from this geoengineering?
Neurological and respiratory, because you have to think of a word. You can look it up, synergistic toxicity. It's when multiple different hazards attack the same target organs. So if you have COP and asthma, it's going to be exacerbated, and it can inhibit fertility, mental growth in children because their frontal lobe is still developing, but it's very hazardous. And that's the irony. I had to engineer these hazards out of the workplace, and then we just turned around and just introduced them to community public health. I would redirect people to geoengineeringwatch.org.
Whistleblower, U.S. Air Force. Geoengineering AI data centers expert Air Force whistleblower on speed dial, and her name is Kristen Megan Kelly. If you are looking for information to fight these bastards, she is your girl. Off this
17
You guys know
years.
I've been probably one of the most
17 years, she said she's been doing this with the chemtrails.
You trying to do QComs or something?
What?
You doing QComs?
No. She said she's been fighting this. The
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for 17 years.
Yep. 17. All right. So Sam Tripoli says, listen, I never voted for Trump, but I have to say he has exposed a ton of shit. Epstein pedophile network, Zionism is a parasite, the military industrial complex is a bunch of bitches, America is occupied, pandemics are scams, space is fake and gay, Both parties are full of sellout scumbags. Gay tech reptilians are trying to bring on a new AI god. Civil rights and culture is an intelligence trick. Hollywood hates America, and nobody is coming to save you. History is a lie. All protests are astroturfed influencers or controlled ops, and cancel culture was paid for by corporations to scare us into self-censoring. The mainstream media are lying frauds. Anything I miss? Right. Yeah, it's a lot that's over the last few years it's came out, right? Especially with Hollywood.
You know what? School is great and it has prepared me for many things in life. And I'll give you an example. If I needed to get the angle of a triangle while having a mental breakdown doing taxes beside very needy tomato plants, I'm sorted. So we spend 13 years of our lives in school, and by the end of it, we don't know how to do basic things. We don't know how to do taxes. We don't know how to grow food, how to cook it properly, basic nutrition. We don't know how to purify water. We don't know how to build things. The list goes on. And the more I grow food and work with nature, the more I realize how much we were never taught. Sometimes I think that school prepared us to fit more into the system than to actually live independently. To be a good employee and a good consumer. That's it. You know what? School is great.
To be a consumer. I remember when I said all the government run lottos are completely rigged. Yep,
Yep.
they are. Winners are selected, they are not random. Often it's a way to slush money into the CIA projects that need funding. Other times it's a way to pay off various parties. From time to time, it's just old school theft with a percentage kickback. It's never honest. Why would it be? Why would a government just give money in the way and the manner they don't control? Hint, they don't. They control it. So this came out locally here in the Chronicle, right? Former Texas Lottery Director Gary Chief and the Texas Lottery Commission have been criminally charged with misusing their positions in a $95 million Lotto Texas draw in which the agency assisted international gamblers engineer a guaranteed win, earning tens of millions in profits at the expense of ordinary players out here at the store. And I see them line up to get these lottery tickets too all the time.
Yes.
Remember Epstein won the lottery twice?
Yes.
Right after he was charged in Florida.
A form of money laundering, right?
Yeah, they're paying people off. What is that? 60 million?
There's just no problem, you just have to wrap your head around everything being effed up. Like everything that everything is
Yes.
wrong. Like no problem. That's besides that, everything's good.
We all know what it's like to stand behind that guy buying 16 different kinds of lottery tickets anyway, right?
Oh gosh.
Give me two number 55s. No, wait. Give me a 55, a 7, 11, a 10, two 10s. Now make that three 10s and four 1s. No, wait. Give me four 2s.
The lady ends
And
up
you're like,
looking like Vanna White trying to turn the letters.
right, spinning the wheel. I'll take an H, please. Yeah, so that's Texas for you, our lottery. They said that the lottery stuff goes to funding the schools, right? I guess that Maury Povich determined that was a lie. All right, y'all forgot to mention that these charges were dropped by the rogue DA's office, and that Gary Cheat was only re-indicted yesterday after massive public outrage. So that's another part. They were dropped by a DA, and then they were picked back up. Of course, the DA wouldn't have got paid off, right? District attorney. Man, this is, yeah, there it is. My emails got anything? Let me check it, make sure I got everything covered here. Yep.
I sent over the AI data center power demand hit 29.6 gigawatts, roughly what it takes to power the entire state of New York at peak. So, yeah, I put that on our wall.
I want to thank everybody for their support. I want to hope everybody has an amazing weekend. Right?
Yes.
Some positive things happening. Right? With every positive thing happens, there's something negative, and with every negative thing that happens, something positive. So good comes out of bad, bad comes out of good, back and forth.
Yeah. I mean, it's not all doom and gloom, right? There's things being rebuilt to us, like the data centers, right? They've been around since the 40s, right? But the way they were operating them was became more hazardous and more hazardous. That means there's a different way that those things could be done, right? And those things need to be addressed, and it's up to we the people to make sure that's addressed and fixed, because we're in charge, right? So you have to know these things so we can fix these things. Otherwise, nothing would ever get fixed because we don't even have a clue. I mean, I didn't have a clue that there was data centers around since 1940.
Right.
And that's when everyone started getting sick. Yeah. Maybe that's why. I don't know.
Yeah. No, we need to all be able to talk. And Bud, you're talking too much. We all need to be able to listen to each other and you know, just expand our minds every day, all the time. It's just sometimes it gets to be like enough.
Yeah, I mean, there's people fighting daily. There's Supreme Court rulings. There's people suing. There's all sorts of stuff going on that's preventing what looks like the inevitable, but nothing's ever in it. We're not doomed, okay?
Oh, hell no.
Don't ever say that. Don't ever think that, because if we have a lot of pull in all this, and even just hearing your voice, making comments, all that goes into that. What do you think all the data is going through those data centers, and is going through the computer? So the computer, the AI knows what we're frustrated about, and it's better than the alternative, which would be horrible. And we can't do that. It would not end up great for nobody. So this is the way we do it. We have the tools, the Constitution, our voice, sharing information. That's why this was so important. This is the revolution, right?
Yeah.
And it's happening every day. And we are winning in some cases. We have a lot still to go, but we have a lot of people. And every day there's more and more people waking up to it.
That's it. Thank y'all for joining us. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
When Peter held the keys that day, the ancient trust was born. A servant of the servants, sworn to lead but never scorned. A keeper of the kingdom, charged to guard the holy will. Yet sovereignty of people stood above that calling still. 'Cause we are kings of our own kingdom, crowned before the world began. Given my spirit free. But power grew in shadows where the crowns of Europe shone, and later and declared the Pope could cast down any throne, depose the kings that solved their oaths, and give their realms away. A feudal claim of mastery no shepherd's heart would say. We are kings of our own kingdom, standing tall in rightful place, separate, equal, born with light that no crown can erase. By nature's God, entitled by creation's breath, we stand sovereigns from the first heartbeat, rulers of our land. Some say the beast is power raised beyond its rightful span, a fiction born of paper trying to rise above the man. For creations of the mind can never claim the height of those who gave them breath. Yet we empowered them to rule us, gifting life to legal death. 2,000 years we trusted forms that cannot feel or bleed, and now they stand unfeeling, blind to every human need. An office has a tenant, but the fiction bears no blame, a mask that hides the actor and dissolves the weight of shame. The keys passed down through linus, then through centuries of heirs, each pushing power further than the call that Peter bears. For Jesus said, go feed my sheep, not rule them with a rod. A servant of the servants, not a tyrant under God. The people are the grunters, settlers of the trust divine, and when a trustee breaks the oath, the right to rule resigns. The sovereigns hold the title and the power to remove a faithless steward of the keys who strays from heaven's groove. So let the nations hear it, let the fictions understand. The people claim their birthright and the keys within their hand. By grace of God the sovereigns speak, their note is now proclaimed, a claim on every attribute the house of Peter named. The assets and derivatives, the symbols and the seal, return unto the people whom the Lord himself made real. For by the divine creator's word, the rightful heirs arise and lift the signet of his name before the watching skies. We are kings of our own kingdom, by eternal right we reign, with liberty our birthright and no need for earthly chain. A trust divine, a sacred sign, a truth no force can bend. Sovereignty is ours by God, beginning without end. And claim your station, let your sovereign spirit sing. For every man and woman is a kingdom, hey! And a king in his name, the word is spoken in his name, the work is done. The divine creator seals it with the power of the one. The divine creator is our signet and our seal.
there.
That's the one I like.
I know. Eli was barking at that the dog on there.
Oh.
Did you hear
Oh,
him?
we're still live.
There we go. Yeah. Yeah. That's funny.